out. You're a part of the resistance.
Instead of a big dark blur, I see a big light blur, and that's because we are back on the Resistance broadcast. It's episode 98. I'm your host, John Hoey. Welcome to the show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN and subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, or YouTube. We have a fun show for you tonight, including a rare and awesome giveaway you can no longer purchase anywhere. And after such a positive response, we brought back our new debate segment called Star Wars Wars. But before we kick off the fun, let's say hi to my fellow leaders of the Resistance, starting with Bill Sheehy. What's up, Bill?
Happy to be back for my first show of 2018. Sorry I missed last week, guys. I was taking the scenic route of the Kessel Run in my best Ben Swallow attire with high-waisted pants and my nipples in the air. So it's good to be back. I'm ready to talk some Star Wars. Let's get into it.
And this guy may love sweet tea, but he'll point the finger at you. What's up, James Baney?
Nothing much. I actually got one of these really cool, like, Incredibuilds. Have you guys seen them? They're like little wood panel things that you can put together that are like Star Wars stuff. Or they probably have other things, but I have a Millennium Falcon.
I haven't seen those, but
It's
they
a
sound
3D
incredible.
wood model, and you kind of put it together. It's like 20 pieces or something, but it looks pretty neat. And it comes with a whole little book on all these stats and stuff, the canon stats on the Falcon. It's pretty cool. I like.
That's pretty neat.
Any stats that surprised you?
Oh, it's been a little bit. I think there's some things about exactly how fast it can go in light speed, which is funny because Pablo Hidalgo was talking about that today, if anybody was paying attention, on last Thursday.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, we're going to be talking about the Falcon a little bit more in this episode. And speaking of the Falcon, let's get into our poll results. And we asked you guys, besides finally seeing Alden Ehrenreich as Han, what do you want to see most in the upcoming teaser for Solo? And 16% of you said, just give me some new characters. I want to see some new people. 19% said the Falcon. Told you we were going to talk about the Falcon more. 22% of you said a new planet like Corellia. Finally, let's see where this guy's from already, right? And the winning vote, which surprised me because it shows that people want some old school stuff here, but 43% of you said you want to see Lando or Chewie. So there you go. And I can guarantee, spoiler alert, you're going to see both those guys in this movie, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're in
Donald
the
Glover is a Renaissance
They're
man.
in the leaked fake photo we saw.
That isn't 100% real.
Right. Our best comment went to our buddy Scotty J. Rowe at the Scott J. Rowe. And he was the guy who sent us that video of him. He had the theater all to himself when he went to go see The Last Jedi.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome. He actually had them turn the sound up for him. So
And they
good for
did
you,
it.
Scotty.
That's so cool.
Yeah. His comment was, I genuinely hope to hear or see Jabba. That character has always been so badass and mysterious. Jabba and Bib Fortuna, please. They wanna wonga. So thank you, Scotty. We appreciate the quote. And before we move on to Newsnet, we have a giveaway that we're going to get into for you guys here. And this one kicks ass. It is Rogue One art created by Kilian Eng. And it's Kilian's Rogue One print that features one of the most tense battle scenes in all of Star Wars, the Battle of Scarif. It has Scarif's tropical scenery juxtaposed with utter chaos as our rebel heroes fight through the Imperial forces. Now, this art is poster size. It's 36 by 24 inch. It has 15 color screen prints with varnish layer, and it's hand numbered, so only a select amount of these were made. And they're gone. You can't even buy them anymore. And we have it for you here. So it originally sold at $50, and this is honestly the only way that you can get this print. So the only way for you to get it, go to our tweet right now. We have a picture of it with announcing the giveaway. Step 1, make sure you're following us on Twitter at RBATSWNN. And step 2, gotta follow. It's a must-follow situation.
Follow me and everything is all right.
And number 2, just retweet it. Follow us at RBATSWNN. Retweet.
Whoa.
No, we're not.
What are you,
We're
Mark
not milking
Hamill
green
over here,
milk.
Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, no green milk here.
Baby.
Just retweet that tweet, and you are in to win this awesome piece of art. This giveaway is thanks to Bottleneck Gallery out of Brooklyn, New York. you can find them at bottleneckgallery.com, and we will continue to let you know when new Star Wars art is available from their gallery, because they sell out in like hours. It's almost impossible to get them. So thank you very much, Bottleneck. We appreciate it. And without further ado, let's send it over to James for Newsnet.
This week, Disney released a media kit for the Solo movie, which didn't have any photos in it, but it did include the first official synopsis for the film, and it pretty much read exactly as you would expect. Let's read it here. It says, board the Millennium Falcon and journey to a galaxy far, far away in Solo, a Star Wars story. An all-new adventure with the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot Chewbacca and encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian in a journey that will set the course of one of our Star Wars saga's most unlikely heroes. So, Bill, I'm tossing this right to you first. Is this what you were expecting from a synopsis, or were you hoping they would reveal like a villain or that the Kessel Run is part of the film? What are you thinking?
Well, this seems like something that they pitched like at the very beginning. There's really nothing new here, and it's everything I was expecting. Who would have thought that Han Solo smuggler is in some kind of seedy involved in the seedy underworld? Who would have thought? But yeah, I mean, this makes sense as an origin story. It tells you that it's an origin story. How it tells you how he's going to meet Chewbacca and he encounters Lando, and it's setting his journey towards A New Hope. So yeah, this is it's good to finally have something official, but this is just kind of what I was expecting.
John, what are your thoughts on this? And while you're at it, when you wrap it up, where's the trailer, man? Why is it delayed? What's going on? Let's talk a little bit about that, because we thought last week the trailer was coming and it's still not here. So what are your thoughts on the synopsis first?
The synopsis reminds me of when I would not read a book that I was supposed to read in like high school,
Cliff Notes.
and the teacher like called on me to tell me what happened, and I just repeat to her what the back of the book says, and then she like gives me an F. So like the synopsis honestly just reminded me of that. Like if you like you go to an old school video store and you're like, oh, let's check out this movie called Solo, and you flip around the VHS, and on the back it says exactly what you just read.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's check this one out. So it's everything I think any normal average Star Wars fan would think this would have in it. So yeah, I'm surprised they didn't even give us and then he meets a mentor or anything like that, like there's teasing Beckett or anything of that nature.
It does say through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld. So it isn't. Yeah. It does kind of show that he might be going to like a 1313 or having to deal with like bounty hunters or something along those lines. So there is a little bit of that in it, but it didn't really say like board the Millennium Falcon on the Kessel Run or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very stock synopsis, and it's like kind of their way of like, let's release this and see people freak out because we haven't given them anything. And then we're going to beat them over the head with a really cool teaser.
Let's get the old movie trailer announcer guy to write it for us. And it's board the Millennium Falcon on a journey far, far away. Like,
right.
That's how it reads to me.
Like you've never seen him before.
I thought it was funny that it said the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. I'm like,
I mean, they're not wrong.
Right.
It's like, it's...
Everybody's
it's oddly specific, though.
Like,
who's the second most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy? Like the code breaker from Canto Bight?
Yeah, exactly.
DJ. No, it's definitely DJ.
John.
Yeah.
Where's that trailer, man?
The trailer probably debuted yesterday from when this show airs.
It's possible.
So we're screwed. We're screwed right now. We're here talking about a synopsis, and it probably already happened, but it's going to be soon. And the only thing that's perplexing me is if it didn't debut yesterday as you're listening to this, which would have made sense because it's championship week, so the NFL games, and those get a lot of ratings, even though they're not on ABC networks. Super Bowl could be it. And the only reason why I say that is because they did that with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is a Disney product, and this is the first time Star Wars is doing a May release after the Disney purchase. So just because they haven't done Star Wars yet at the Super Bowl doesn't mean they won't do it.
Yeah, it was too early for the other movies coming out in December, but this is a solid release. Yeah, Bill, do you think this is a move, like we're not getting the trailer for marketing reasons, like they're saying like, oh, let's hold off and make our big reveal at this specific day, or do you think there's something, I don't want to say sinister, but like behind the scenes?
I just it's really perplexing to me because this movie, like, it's not coming out in December. It's coming out in May, and we've seen one quote unquote not official image it's an official image, and we've gotten the synopsis, and that's it. Like, we've gotten some cool behind the scenes stuff from Ron Howard as well, but there's nothing official from this movie that we've seen.
No, what if, hear me out here now, everyone keeps saying this is going to be an old school Star Wars movie, and you have everything pointing us in that direction, not just chronologically that it's happening before A New Hope, but it's Larry Kasdan, old school Star Wars writer,
right?
Ron Howard, who's been with Lucasfilm since way back in the day doing American Graffiti, acting for George Lucas. What if they're doing an old school marketing approach like the old Star Wars movies where it's like, we don't need 12 trailers, 12 TV spots. Let's hit them over the head with a trailer, get to the point, and let's go see this movie.
But here's the thing. Like I said, the movie it'd be one thing if it was in December. It's not. It's 4 months away. We need something.
Yeah.
I think it's a different world, John. I think that would be hard to try to do that marketing for a movie like this.
So you think they're just going to mush it? They're going to like really just club us over the head for the next 4 months with oversaturation to catch up?
I think
possibly. But here's Bill. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think that we'll get a teaser or whatever that comes out in the next week or so, and then we won't hear anything for a month, and then we'll get the full trailer, and then it'll just be a sprint to the finish. Because, like, I think they want to, and hell, do it during March Madness. I mean, as selfishly as a Kentucky fan, getting to watch that and seeing a solo teaser or whatever, like during March Madness, would be really, really cool. But
I know when you're going to get the full trailer for Solo.
When's that?
I think it's going to be opening night of the Major League Baseball season on ESPN,
which is
the very end of March.
Okay. I think that's probably right. And that kind of...
That would fall in line with that 2-month window that they've been doing on ESPN with the Saga films. So that's why we're going to get a teaser first here soon. And I'm saying Super Bowl, and it could be crazy. But what's better than munching on some hot wings and seeing some Solo, huh?
Exactly. And they don't have to release the full trailer during the Super Bowl itself.
They won't. It'll be a teaser.
Exactly.
But they steal the Super Bowl if they do it.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah,
especially if like by all indications, like in that. Well, I don't think we've talked about this. We'll talk about it a little bit later. The secret screening or whatever, where they said Alden was great. If they have a trailer where Alden Ehrenreich completely just steals the show, and you have a little Lando and Chewie, I think people are going to lose their minds, because I think Han Solo is such a beloved character that I think that once they see it, I think people will want it to succeed, because I think this is, since there's been so much bad buzz around it, I just feel that like Ron Howard, who's my secret Hollywood dad, would he's a master, and I think that he can. If anybody can save this film, not that it needs saving. I mean, you've got Lawrence Kasdan as the writer, like you said earlier, John. But yeah, I just feel like I'm gonna cheer for this movie, and I think you're right. The Super Bowl seems to be a great place to show it off for the first time.
It's gonna be really hilarious if it does debut before this episode airs, and we're saying this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you guys think? I have one more point about the teaser. I can picture them doing like an Indiana Jones style where you don't see his face till the end. So you see his boots and his pants and like him running around and like quick shots of things happening. And then they're like, all right, we'll finally see him with the Han Solo coif towards the end. He'll say like a quick line like, "Come on, Chewie," or something like that, you know?
Let me lay on you my theory on why we haven't gotten it yet. Are you guys ready?
Lay it on me.
Yep.
They had a plan and they had a trailer, and it was going to come out like 2 weeks after Last Jedi, right? And they were so hyped up on what The Last Jedi was. They're like, cool, this is a great movie. We're stoked on it. Rian Johnson, he kind of like flies in the face of traditional Star Wars, and everybody's going to love this. So we got this Solo trailer, right? And it's going to show that new alien, that new planet, that new thing. It's going to give this weird vibe that like is like this
Sounds
is a
fun.
fresh, different Star Wars, right? And everybody's going to love it because they just walked out of Last Jedi and they're hyped up, and this is going to be awesome. And then guess what?
But
They all didn't like the big shift. They didn't like that Rian Johnson kind of did change things up. So now they have this trailer. They're like, if we air this, they're gonna hate it. They're right on the hype of coming off of like they're I don't know, caught up in all this like Last Jedi angst or whatever. I don't know how to really say it, but they're coming off of that, and they're not gonna like this trailer. We need to think this through again. We need to go back, and we need to change that new alien. Let's put in a scene of Chewbacca. That new ship or that new thing, let's put in the Millennium Falcon. Like they went back and they re-edited, and maybe they weren't even prepared for this new one, so they had to wait until some of those reshoots were done or something so that they could cut this together, because they need a trailer now that's old school Star Wars to try to win those Last Jedi fans back.
Here's that sounds like very much like a
Could
move
be.
that Warner Brothers has been doing with their DCEU films, where it's very reactionary. Like, oh shit, people didn't like Suicide Squad, or people didn't like Batman v Superman, so we're gonna do this. Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. No offense to Warner Brothers, they're better than that. I understand where you're coming from. I don't think that they would change everything, because as much backlash from the fans, and I put backlash in quotation marks, The Last Jedi is doing pretty damn well at the box office.
Yeah, but
so
so did Iron Man 2. It sold box office numbers. The thing is that people went and saw the movie, and then they're like, not so sure about this. So they kind of held off on the movies after that. I'm just saying Solo's in a weird spot right now.
should we stop talking about this in case it did debut yesterday, and we should move on to other stuff?
Hey,
It's a very
I
good
love
point.
listening to old podcasts and hearing people's opinions on things before they happened. You know, like, oh, Last Jedi is going to crush in China. You wait. Like,
We should
and
do a
it's like,
fake we should do
then
a
it-
fake
no,
a
that it
fake
didn't.
improv 2-minute segment right now, as though we saw it.
Yeah,
And be like,
yeah.
dude, when Chewie looked great.
Yeah.
He looked.
What we'll do is we'll like edit all the parts that actually apply to the trailer together. So it's like when Chewie punched
can
that
you
guy
guys
in the
believe
face,
Hans-
when Chewie slapped that guy in the face, when Chewie kicked that dude in the face, like we just put together all this stuff.
did you see Han Solo?
Yeah.
Dude, Lando was so suave.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
When Han was like, and then Chewie, oh man.
And then you see Boba Fett for like 2 seconds. Oh my god.
And then Han Solo floated in space like Superman. That was crazy.
All right, guys. There is more to talk about with Solo, though. We have actress of the upcoming movie, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, talked about the director change and how surprisingly smooth it was, saying, "The handover there was done with such warmth and generosity from everybody, and Ron's just a master at his craft. He's going to make a beautiful film out of it." She was talking that specifically about the transition. She says, "You just really trust him, and it was just really exciting to get to work with him. I mean, it would have been exciting just to pass him in the corridor, let alone be parachuted in, and he's now working on the film you're doing, you know?" So she was asked right after that about the reshoots in comparison to Lord and Miller's version of the film, and she said, "We'd done some stuff that was really, really great with Chris and Phil, and everyone was really thrilled on it. I think that a lot of that will still be in the movie." So, that to me is kind of surprising considering what we know about the amount of reshoots that the film has gone through, but that is what she's saying. John, I'm throw it back to you. There's a lot of talk about Phoebe being a CG character and maybe even this leaked DDBD droid from the Lego sets. I mean, what do you think about the transition of directors, and who do you even think she's playing?
I don't know. A lot of rumors have been going around that she's playing this droid, which would be interesting if she's actually playing an astro droid, which was what that DDBD looks like.
It looks like a weird
but-
R2 sort of with taller
With legs.
kind of.
Right, but so is this the first time? As I think in our report of it, I wrote that it'd be the first time we saw an astromech droid speaking English,
Yeah.
if she's going to be speaking instead of beat bopping and scatting the way R2D2 and Chopper do. But more so about the director's stuff. Like I said, she's not going to be like, oh man, let me tell you, Chris and Phil, those guys sucked.
Yeah.
Oh God, thank God Ronnie came in. So she's saying the right thing. She's saying what a quarterback says at halftime. Oh, we got to go give him 110% and go get him, and you know. But it's interesting, the whole back and forth with what we reshot, what we didn't reshoot, because then you had Paul Bettany, I believe it was, who said, yeah, Ron shot a lot of new stuff for this movie, and which that makes sense because he was brought in to replace Michael K. Williams' character, right? So it's like we're hearing two different things, and my leaning is that what we reported a while back was that he did reshoot a lot of this movie, but it just doesn't look good for all these actors to keep saying that. So they're trying to bury that aspect of it. So it could be a PR move from that perspective, but I'm interested to see the character she's playing for sure. I'm not too familiar with her as an actress, I'll be honest, but she sounds lovely.
Bill, we got this talk of her possibly being an astromech droid, and she's also saying that she doesn't feel like a lot of her stuff really needed to be reshot. You know, a lot of the stuff that they did was still stuff that is going to be able to be used. How much is she even going to be in this film?
Well, if it were to make sense, maybe 20% of it, if she reshot 80% of it, so maybe she's in, I don't know, if the movie's 2 hours long, math is hard, 15 minutes over the one, so about 2 hours. Anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not 100% sure if that would be her, if DDB8, is that
DDBD.
Yeah, BD.
There you go. I'm not 100% sold on that's who she is, because like we've been told that she's like 100% basically CG character, so I don't know what to think. I picture more of kind of like HK-47 from KOTOR, or even like a K2SO kind of character, which I'm not 100% sold on that so far. But I mean, these comments are just kind of like your basic like, oh, director change, this is fine. It's, I mean, when you go from Lord and Miller, which they're great directors and they know how to do comedy, and you go to Ron effing Howard, I mean, I'd be really confident too. So just I feel like these are just like standard comments, but they make sense in the whole scheme of things, because Ron Howard seems to be having a whole lot of fun with this. So I'm very, very these comments.
The only reason why I buy she's playing this droid thing is because when we saw the Lego leaks, I felt like every actor lined up with one of the Lego figures except her. And then they show this droid, and she's playing a, quote, CG character. So what if they finally blended CG/droid? I mean, I don't know. That's just a guess. I do know they need some kind of droid that interacts with people, like they use K2SO to replace R2 and C-3PO and BB-8. Well, they need a droid around to do something.
Yeah, I kind of, if they do like the R2 unit or whatever kind of droid unit she is, I guess it would kind of remind me of like either Jarvis or Jennifer or whatever the AI is in the Iron Man suits and the Spider-Man suits in the new MCU. So yeah, I think that's definitely, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sold on it, but I'm very open to new things in Star Wars. So it's definitely interesting.
I think that if we were to get a droid like kind of a static droid, it moves around, but you know how R2 is kind of static or whatever, BB-8's kind of static, not so much like C-3PO that's like humanoid. Maybe something like TARS from Interstellar was a robot in the movie that was basically a box, and yet at the same time the voice that came out of it was so fun and comedic that a lot of people left that movie thinking really like this is one of the best characters in the movie.
Really good point.
So I think that
you're saying C-3PO and R2-D2 had a baby.
It's going to be interesting to see if C-3PO and R2-D2 are even in that movie in the first place, because I don't know.
That's a good, James. What if she's just doing voice work and there's just going to be a British sounding robot? And they just told us she was going to be a CG character.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody's told us officially that she's a CG character.
Oh, well, what we've heard. Rumors that we've heard.
You know what I mean?
Sorry.
So
right.
Well, that's what we're basing it on, but we're also basing on the fact that she's going to be like an astromech on like Lego leaks, and not even like something that lines up. It's just like we heard she might be a non-human or something, and then we see this astromech and we're like, maybe it's that. But I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Well,
a lot of
the
these
match
toy
game.
sets just have like background characters, and stuff like that. Like PC 430 or whatever is in Force Awakens, and it wasn't like any major character, but he might have been boxed up with a couple of toys just because he's there and he's in the background and they reference him in the movie. So
if she's not DDBD in this movie, I am boycotting this movie.
That's
and
it. Disney
That's
should
some
be
strong
worried
language
if
there.
I'm starting a petition, and I only need 12 signatures. And if I get 12 signatures, then nothing will happen.
Yeah.
I'm not signing that effing paper. I just want you to know. Good luck, but
I think that is probably the gist of the news that came out this week, unfortunately. I would love to talk about some other heavy topical topics on Tropical Topic Tuesdays, but it's a
Tropic
Thursday.
Thunder?
Tropic Thunder
Tropic
is
Thunder,
a great movie.
Tropic Thunder Thursdays.
That's your segue to me?
So take it away, John.
Okay. Hello, Cleveland. Are you ready for your headliner?
Why Cleveland?
Tuesday.
Why like the worst city?
All right, well, let's head into the rundown and run down a few more topics here for you guys before we get into some more good stuff. I just want to update everybody on The Last Jedi box office update. Rotten Tomatoes audience score be damned. The Last Jedi is still kicking ass at the box office. Here are the latest numbers as of the moment we are recording this episode. So domestic, it's currently at 596 million, which is good for 6th place all time on the domestic chart, with its eye closely on the Avengers for 5th place.
Again, Disney should be worried.
Yeah, right? So
It's a flop.
worldwide, it is 1.27 billion, likely passing Frozen for 9th spot on the all-time list this past weekend, and may have even passed Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 for 8th place all-time. So amidst all the nonsense with the vocal minority hating the movie, it is done quite well. You're going to probably nestling in the top 5 domestic and inside the top 10 all-time worldwide for The Last Jedi. So great success, as Bora would say. Now, when the theatrical run ends, fans will wait to pick up their home video version of the film, and The Last Jedi Steelbook 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray / Blu-ray with digital copy of the film is available for pre-order at Best Buy and Target. The Target edition will include a 40-page booklet which includes an inside behind-the-scenes look at the making of Star Wars The Last Jedi with exclusive images, facts, and personal insights from writer-director Rian Johnson. Plus, you'll receive the exclusive featurette Meet the Porgs about the making of the lovable characters. Now, wherever you buy it, The Last Jedi Blu-ray will feature over 2 hours of special features, including deleted scenes which Rian Johnson mentioned are full completed deleted scenes, including the caretaker Kegger on Octu. The rumored release date is March 27th, which has not been confirmed. Our last story is Akbar, one person who will not be around to purchase the Blu-ray. Admiral Akbar died in The Last Jedi, spoiler alert. Editor Bob Duxay has spoken, I believe it's Duxay, has spoken about Admiral Akbar's death in the film, saying that the way in which it happened was their plan from day one and no real changes were made. Now, they understand it was rather unceremonious, but acknowledge that he went out fighting the good fight. Now, I personally don't see what the hubbub about it is. I mean, I guess some fans are upset he didn't garner more attention, but I mean, Han Solo didn't get a funeral or a majestic send-off, and loss in war, even in space opera films, isn't really as romantic or poetic as we'd all like it to be sometimes. So at least Akbar went out fighting until the end, which he wasn't given the same luxury in the non-canon expanded universe where he died of old age. So farewell, Admiral, and we thank you. Now, thanks for riding with me on the Scoundrels Rundown. This segment was brought to you by StarWarsNewsNet.com, our website, which is the best and friendliest Star Wars site in the galaxy. Now it's time to take our gloves off, because it's Star Wars war time. We're going to have Bill introduce our topic this week, so Chewie, get us out of here.
Thanks, John. We listened to you guys, and we're doing it again. This is Star Wars War. Our war this week is inspired by... There you go. Our war this week is inspired by Adam Odell, at E. Odele, I guess. I don't know if I'm wrong. At John, at Johnny Hoey, and complain. So
I know, I thought the
There
same
you go.
at Iole.
Anyway, the question this week that we're going to find out is, what should they do about Leia in Episode 9, A Star Wars War? So, let's take it away, guys.
So I'm going to put out my stance out there. And we kind of did this last week where everyone just gave their stance first, and then we just started brawling, for lack of a better word. So my stance is they should not recast Princess Leia. I know they're not bringing her back as CG, they said. And obviously, Kathleen Kennedy said Carrie's not coming back in any form in Episode 9. But I am adamant that they do not recast this character.
I am actually going to say that I think the best result is probably from recasting her. And I have my reasons for that. And I have reasons why all reasons kind of suck. Bill, what is your stance on this? Do you have an opinion?
It looks like it's 2 against 1 this week, because I am 100% against them recasting or bringing her back
Attaboy.
in CGI in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Since James, you're in the handicap match here, 2-on-1. Why don't you start off and start swaying people's opinions?
Okay, yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen, because this is it, guys. They're in a bind, right? And you can throw out something, but I kind of, threw it out to a couple friends, and I said, can you think of any other solution other than these 5? Recast, CG, mentioning her in the movie and just saying like, oh, here's the reason she's not here, or in the crawl she died, or whatever, right? So crawl or mention, using old footage from deleted scenes or something along those lines to put her in the movie, or using exterior canon, novels, cartoon shows or comics or something like that to explain the death, right? So you've got 5 options there. And honestly, what I think is that everybody is going to have a different opinion on, and they're going to be really impartial to one of these reasons. They should recast her. They should just mention her in the crawl, or they should just leave it at that and give her a solid book and let the book be the story to her end, or whatever. And they're in a big time lose-lose situation, because no matter what they do, 20% of people are going to agree with them and 80% of people are going to hate it. That's my stance.
But it's not going to be those numbers for every situation. Mm-hmm. I think if they recast her, they are in for a shit storm that they aren't even ready to deal with.
God bless the actress if they decide to do that, because
that's what I'm saying.
That actress is gonna be under so much scrutiny that at the point that imagine what happened when Ben Affleck got cast as Batman. Times that by 15,000, because she is such an iconic character. You can't. She just simply cannot be replaced.
It's different because Batman keeps getting regurgitated and rebooted. This is the same continuation of a story. And think about how upset people got just at what Rian Johnson did with Luke Skywalker as a character with the same actor. Now, if you go in there in Episode 9 with J.J. Abrams and say, now here's Sigourney Weaver as General Leia, people are going to be like, that is bull, man. Well, that is absolute garbage. I think
if they replaced her, they wouldn't replace her with someone that is a completely different type of actress.
So you're just gonna get some unknown actress?
But I don't know if it necessarily comes down to looks, or it comes down to who can actually do an impression, or who could carry the same weight. I understand.
Maybe they'll get Anthony Gruber to do it then.
No, if you're doing an impression, you're not doing it the right way.
No, I'm just saying maybe that's one method of they could maybe choose based on that merit, or they could base it on looks, or they could base it on acting ability. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what they would do, but the reason I'm kind of coming from it at this angle is, number one, I feel like they had a story to tell, and Carrie Fisher was on board with that story. So I think that and this would be a weird scenario, but I think if they had approached her and said, Carrie, you're going to pass before we're capable of making this movie. What do you want us to do? I know that's a weird scenario. What do you want us to do? I don't think her answer would have been, I'd prefer that you just do like what you did with, Tarkin in the other, you know what I mean? What is it? I'm blanking on the
Peter
name.
Cushing.
Peter Cushing.
Peter
Yeah.
Cushing.
What you did with him, I thought that was really great. Or can you make me look like I did at the end of the movie or something? I don't know that she would have answered that way. I think honestly that she would have a personal attachment to this character and feel like this character's story needed to live on. And I think she would find it honorable to give that to one of her friends, like someone she's grown up with in the movie business, and say, this is my present to you. I want you to be Leia because I'm not going to be able to do that. And so I don't know how that would work after the fact, because you don't have her final wishes. But I do kind of feel like if we knew that was the case, I think fans would be really accepting of this person being put in that role.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're talking about a hypothetical that doesn't exist to try to win a Star Wars war, and I'm not going to let it happen.
Okay.
All right, quote. Ready? Quote.
Go ahead. Go quote.
I am Princess Leia, and Princess Leia is me. End quote.
There you go.
Carrie Fisher.
Amen. That is the entire point of not recasting of she was Princess Leia. Anybody else, in my opinion, would be lesser than that.
So now someone out there
want
right now
her
is saying, well, they recast Obi-Wan Kenobi and Alec Guinness was great. Yes, but it wasn't post-date, it was pre-date. Now, if you want to go back and do a young Leia, like, I don't know, Millie Bobby Brown, maybe?
I'm a big Millie Bobby Brown.
Then fine. I understand prequel recasting. Alden Ehrenreich.
Mm-hmm.
Ewan McGregor,
yeah.
fine. But post-dating, just for the sake of continuity, let alone respect to the actor, I think that's two different ballgames. So people out there, don't mix up. You got to compartmentalize here. Don't mix up the prequel casting, which I get doing a younger version of somebody, versus going forward. Like, look at Silence of the Lambs won the Oscar, right? That movie was unbelievable. And then Jodie Foster didn't want to come back for Hannibal, so they got Julianne Moore. And the whole time I'm watching Hannibal, I'm like, this movie would have been so awesome if Jodie Foster was Clarice Starling.
Right.
But it wasn't. So I was looking at a completely different character to me. Now compare that to Star Wars, and I'm supposed to look at someone else as Leia? I just can't do it. I won't be able to watch it.
Absolutely.
I won't be able to watch that character and be like, that's Leia. It'll destroy, take the suspension of disbelief that those characters are real to me. Like, imagine if they replaced Han Solo because Harrison Ford, I don't want to do it. They should have killed me off. And all of a sudden you're watching the screen and you see Tom Selleck or Kurt Russell playing, Han Solo. What? Get out of here.
Exactly.
The unfortunate thing is that if the movies would continue on, if they were doing 11 and 12 and she was going to be in it, like if it was a young actress and then they replaced her, I think that over time we could learn to enjoy that new character, like a Rhodey from Iron Man or something, right? They replaced him, and it was weird for that first movie. We're like, who is this guy, right? And over time,
but now Don Cheadle has been,
exactly.
But yeah,
so I understand that argument, and this is weird because it's like 6 movies that this character, or 5 movies, and then the 6th one is not gonna have that person in it, and I get that that's weird. I'm still saying that is still the best for her, for the story of Leia and how they're going to kill off this character, because they have to kill off the character.
Yeah, no, and I actually, the things that you pitched of the 5 things that they're probably, that the options that they have, I would not mind if they did a Claudia Gray. She wrote a kind of last mission for Leia, and then they give you the story there, but then for people that don't keep up with the canon, they say General Organa has passed on, has become one with the Force.
No, I don't like that, man.
So in the movie, you're saying they just mention, she's long gone.
Well, or either
the
that
crawl
or,
becomes an ad for the Claudia Gray book.
No.
If you want to read more, check out Claudia Gray.
No.
Leia retired and opened up a deli, and it's going to be Leia's
and even
deli.
like the first scene of
nobody
it,
gets that, John.
They will eventually.
Yeah, we will.
Hell,
the
first scene could be Leia's funeral, or remembering Leia in a way. I mean, it'd be remembering Carrie Fisher in a way. So I don't see the harm in.
Here's
what. So John, what's your solution to this then?
I know
Tell
exactly
me what
what's
Disney's
going
to
to
do.
I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to open up the crawl with episode 9 with General Leia has died. That just like they did Luke Skywalker has vanished in episode 7. But they're not going to explain it with a Claudia Gray novel. They're going to tell us in the movie how she died. If they want to sell books and do it later and have something happen from a character with episode 9 to help them push units like they did with the Leia novel with Holdo, fine. But the end of the movie is going to show.
By the way, that's
the
a
Force
Star
Ghost...
Wars war that's coming up. You guys wait. We're going to talk about the necessity of canon.
The end of the
that's
movie,
a teaser. It's coming in the next couple weeks.
The end of the movie, when we find out that Rey took on the last name Skywalker because she has not a last name yet, just out of a tribute to these people, and she looks out into the horizon to end the saga, and you're going to see the Force ghosts of Yoda, Luke, and Leia. And we're going to see an image of Carrie Fisher as a Force ghost, and that's how the saga is going to end.
I think you're right on that. that almost gave me like chills because I think that would be.
I want to make a very.
Go ahead.
My main.
We're being too polite for Star Wars wars.
Exactly. Shut up. Anyway, so my I don't like. I'm not saying like it'd be like in the crawl would be an ad for the book. What I'm just saying is that like you can just like you can say like they can describe it in the movie, kind of like John said, and explain what happened. But then like for like Claudia Gray or whoever, but because Claudia seems to know how to do Leia really, really well.
I mean, you guys are saying this. I mean, just the same way they handled the death of Han Solo. They gave us a funeral at the beginning of episode 8. We got to be with him, and I mean that just made so much sense that they did it.
Well, the reason why we didn't get a Han funeral is because we saw Han die. With Leia, they need to give us a little bit more because it's just a void. It goes from her saying and plus, well, first of all, how much time is going to be between 8 and 9? That's a part of it.
I think 5 years seems to be the right amount there. Anyway, go ahead.
So what if Rey is sitting down talking to her new Jedi pupils and she's explaining the story of how General Leia, knowing that the rebellion was reborn, became one with the Force, and she tells it in a nice way, and these kids understand that. And this is after the crawl says General Leia has died. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't see Rey being in a position where she would even have students right now. Like the First Order is still out there.
I agree with that.
Okay, she's talking to I don't know, a potato.
Yeah,
like, I don't care.
I know you don't have like a story written out, but you're saying that somehow the movie opens up and they kind of just present this concept, maybe not a funeral like what you were presenting before, Bill, I think, but just kind of this story of like what happened with her particularly, but they can't show her. That's the thing I got to argue with you on the Force Ghost thing. They said no CG and they said no images of her in any way.
Nah, that's tricky because they can use pre-filmed footage of her, and that wouldn't be them going back on what they said, which is no CGI Leia, and they're not going to Carrie's not going to be in 9, they said, but I think she meant she's not going to be, any new parts for 9 in any way. Now, if they go back and take
that caveat, I thought it was she will not appear in the movie.
Okay, dude, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want to spoil the end of the saga for us.
Yeah.
It's written already. It's in a vault somewhere. Force Ghost Leia, Force Ghost Luke, Force Ghost Yoda, Sunset. Rey is Rey Skywalker now, and everything's great.
Force
Kylo Ren is dead.
Let's throw him in.
You guys remember?
Kylo Ren is dead because he's evil.
Do you guys remember when George
and that's
Lucas?
The end of it.
Do you remember in
Luke and
1983,
Anakin are
right
gonna
before the
shake
movie was
hands.
coming out? Do you remember when Return of the Jedi was coming out and he told everybody that Hayden Christensen was going to be in at the end of Return of the Jedi?
I do remember that.
That was my favorite part of the
had
ad
that planned
campaign
out
for
the
that.
whole time. They called up 1-year-old Hayden Christensen and said, "Son, in 20 years, you're going to be in this movie."
Look, that's awesome. Here's my thing. Again, the reason we're even having this is like, first of all, there is another argument to be said, like, well, what they should have done, they should have let her freeze out in space, or they should have let her be the person on the Radis that goes through the supremacy, or they. But
then you don't get the Luke. But then you don't get the Luke and Leia moment at the end.
Totally,
I mean, there aren't any good
and
options there.
I want to quickly address that because I know that there are tons of people on this that are going to be. Or are listening who I don't want to say they're anti-Last Jedi, but like in this situation, I even have friends who are like, they feel that they already had the out. And I personally feel like that wasn't an option. Like by the time all this was shot and all the money was spent and they were on this certain timetable, they couldn't do that. It was already too far gone. That's like saying, they should have addressed it in Force Awakens. It's like, it's done.
James, that aside, is Rian Johnson going to be the guy who says, I'm going to cut out stuff that Carrie Fisher did for this movie for the sake of that?
That as
when
well,
She finished this movie thinking, I did a good job in this movie. I feel great about this movie. And then she's going to be a ghost on Earth and say, are you effing kidding me? They cut out my face scene where I covered my nose and I was looking out. Are you serious? Get out of here.
That was like
Gary, we're getting out of here.
And to be honest with you, that's like part of the reason why I back the recasting thing is because I think that she has this idea and she's excited about what Princess Leia was going to be doing in 8 and what she was going to be doing in 9, and she signed on for that, and she wants that to be the story that's told.
They said, and I don't know if Trevorrow's situation has anything to do with this or as to why he got punted, but it might.
There's a good possibility,
or they just realized that Jurassic World stunk. I don't know, but it's kind of like it was supposed to be Leia's story, right? 9, they kept saying that. They go Han, Luke, Leia.
Yeah.
So we know that.
She was dying in 9.
Now. It's gone now, though. So, like, we can't say the what ifs, right? And I'm not saying you guys are right now. But us as fans need to stop with the what ifs because we can't hop into a DeLorean, go back in time and fix stuff. We have to work with what we have now. And what we have now is she dies in the crawl. Well, they tell us she died in the crawl. Rey tells us this cool story. Rey takes on the name Skywalker. And then we see the Force Ghost at the end.
And again, I think the only reason I'm picking this is because I personally feel it's the least.
All right. Well, who would you say who could pull it off?
Don't.
Like, if you could think of an actress,
off the top of my head, you can't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
just if you're gonna recast her, you've got to have somebody in mind.
If somebody came up to me and was like, recast Leia right now, the first name that pops into my mind is
Sally Field.
Is Sally Field? It is.
Is it really?
Is it really?
Are you?
Oh
no.
Wow! I said that.
I don't know about that.
Exactly.
Am I thinking of the wrong person? You might have just thrown me off. Maybe it's
Forrest
Susan
Gump's
Sarandon.
mom?
Is that who I'm thinking of?
Oh, please don't say Susan Sarandon.
All right, now I'm lost.
You probably are thinking
because
of
you've got
Susan
me all
Sarandon.
messed up.
I think Laura Dern could really pull it off.
Who?
Laura Dern. She could really pull it off.
Yeah, what if they got Laura Dern to play her?
They just bring her back. Yeah. So Bill just lost Star Wars War. So
I had the exact same opinion. How the hell did I lose?
Because you want to bring Laura Dern back to play Leia.
That was obviously a joke.
You banana.
Let me win this, please. I'll win. Let me win the war, and you'll win the battle. That's how it goes, right?
All right, but think about it. If you get Sally Field, who played Forrest Gump's mom, right, to play Leia, people are gonna be like, "Oh, look, it's Forrest Gump's mom." And sorry, Sally Field, I know you've won. You were in Steel Magnolia, and you've won an Oscar, and you've done other great things. But the point is, Carrie Fisher is Leia, and Leia is Carrie Fisher, and that's the bottom line. And I understand your stance, James, in terms of this is if they do bring her back in any way, that's the best way to do it. But it still sucks.
And I think everybody's going to think whatever option happens, most people are going to be unhappy with that decision. That's how I feel.
They'll find, I mean, some people, unfortunately, will find a way to say, oh, you're just, recasting her to keep selling figures, or there'll be a jaded population that'll say, how dare you bring this character back? I'm not going to be that person. I'm just personally, because I can only speak for myself, I just personally will be taken out of the movie every time I see that person who is not Leia on screen, and she's supposed to be Leia. It's just gonna, it's gonna kill me, man. I'm begging it doesn't happen.
I think I'm sympathizing with them, and to be honest, I do feel like whatever they do, I will be like, I get it, guys. Like, you're so pinned into a corner. Like, I know you just did the best that you could, and that was the solution that we got. I don't think I can't imagine, unless they do something like really weird, like really, really, really weird, that I would be like, that was dumb. Like, I really hate what you did. Like, why is she wearing a clown outfit? I don't understand. Like, why does she have bozo shoes on?
The wrong move.
Yeah,
the movie opens with like Poe flying an X-wing, and then he's like, General Leia, what should we do? And like all of a sudden, like Mary Steenburgen walks out, and she's like, "Well,
use
I
your
think
cockpit."
we should."
Or like demote me to captain. Blows up. So I don't know.
You know what, General Leia? You haven't been the same since the last movie.
Yeah. I don't even know you anymore. No, I feel like we're getting borderline pretty rough, but sacrilegious, if you will. But
I mean, I know. I mean, what do you guys all think out there? I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be debating this as it gets closer, because when they start filming this movie and we try to get hints of what they are doing about Leia, people are going to really throw logs on the fire about this. So I don't know. Like, I guess we need to wrap this up, right? So, but between us three, what do you guys think is going to happen with the fan base as this thing starts to get rolling? I think it's going to get ugly.
And just tweet at Star Wars Bill and just say, Bill, you won. And then we'll be friends forever. It's fine.
Yeah, Bill clearly won this.
Bill definitely won this.
Thank you. I'll sign autographs after the show.
No, if it's one of those, like, well, you got to say one nice thing about the arguments, I do understand totally where you guys are coming from with the standing in front of... or like sitting in front of the screen and seeing someone else try to portray that character, you get this like, well, that's not her. And that's just something like internal that your brain's going to say, I can't like this because I can't get over that thing. So I understand that. And I do really like John's idea of having Mark and Carrie and a Yoda, at the end. That is really good. That's a good way to similarly mirror Return of the Jedi with this movie as well. So I'd really like that idea as well. I just don't know.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
So did I win the Star Wars war then?
No, because you're
Bill
supposed to say
won.
how great my ideas are now. It's your turn.
Oh, okay. All right, hang on.
Like,
all right. So
I
wanted to say,
why. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought you made a great point, because you took the hard road, but you believe it. So, good on you. I mean, especially 2-on-1's tough, but
not impossible.
I mean, let's wrap it up here, but I think it's going to get ugly as this movie starts filming. Fans are going to get crazy about this. And that's what they're going to want to know the most, is what they're going to do with Leia. Now, unless Kathleen Kennedy's smart, just goes out in front and being like, look, here's the deal. Like, this is what's going on. But I don't think so. J.J. Abrams is pretty secretive, so.
Yeah. James, I 100% get where you're coming from. If it had been any other character, like if it
Luke
had been
Skywalker.
like, or if it had been any new character,
Han Solo.
If it had been somebody like,
if it had been,
like, I like Poe, or if it had been Finn, and they were like, we got to recast it for whatever reason, contract, what if something happened, I get it. I'd be 100% okay with that.
I wouldn't.
It's such an iconic character. I just don't think anybody else could do it. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that it's the smart thing to do.
I appreciate you understand what I'm saying, but I disagree with you
absolutely.
on that. I'm with John. Like, don't recast Finn or Poe or Rey or any of the new ones.
Kill them
either.
too, then, if you have to. Yeah. Oh yeah,
what if
no
we had
one
to
else
recast
could.
Hayden
Don't
Christensen?
don't even get me started about Rey. Like, I hope we never even have to address that. But because I just love Daisy Ridley so much. But all right, so that I guess that wraps up our Star Wars war here. What do you guys think about this? Are you guys on board with James? Do you think recast is what they need to do to keep the initial story path going, or are you more with me and Bill, or Bill and I, if I'm going to be correct with English, and say that they have to kill her off in a gentle but well done, tasteful way? And as we said before, there are other options too, but I don't think they're going to send Leia off to go run a deli and write a comic book about her to end Carrie's legacy, but we'll see. They're going to be starting filming on this thing in about 5 months or 6 months or so, something like that. So, all right, and as we usually do, we would send it to Pat, who would do Tweeting with the Resistance and go through your questions, but Pat is not here today. He's getting a Jar Jar Binks tattoo removed. He should be back with us, I believe, next week. But hit him up on Twitter at Ganon136. That's Ganon 136. You could also find him playing Battlefront 2. I forget his handle, but he's also in the Cantina, Star Wars News Net. So you can go find Pat. You don't need a map to find him, but he is getting that tattoo removed. So we'll see you back next week, Pat. But for now, Bill, what is the Resistance tweeting about?
Our first tweet today comes from Jason Pimberfoot at Pimberfoot, who asked, does Kylo realize that Luke has died, or does he still believe that he is helping lead fight for the Resistance in some way? John, go ahead and pick that up.
So does Kylo realize that Luke has died? I think he has realized that he died. I'm not sure specifically why I think that, but I think the signs with the vanishing dice and maybe he'll sense something through the Force. I'm not really sure, but I can't imagine Kylo Ren thinking Luke's still alive. Like, we don't want that hanging over our heads in Episode 9 as some kind of plot device where, like, halfway through the movie, Kylo's like, wait a minute, Luke Skywalker's... he's dead? Like, that'd be kind of stupid. So my initial instinct is that he thinks... he does realize that Luke died, or he'll find out very soon.
Yeah, I came out of the movie and I was like, oh, clearly, like, we all know he passed, right? And Luke says, "See you around, kid," and we're all like, it's like a hint. He's coming back as a Force ghost, right? But then this question came up, and I think it's an awesome question because.
Oh, I think it's a great question.
Why wouldn't he, or why would he think he died? You know what I mean? He realizes he's a Force ghost, or not. I'm sorry, not a Force ghost, but a Force like apparition, projection, or whatever. And he does that, and then he says, "See you around," like, "See you later, see you next Tuesday, see you next time I see you," and he disappears. And that, to me, really signifies that Kylo has no clue. It actually kind of reminded me of the, like, well, wouldn't he know the lightsaber was broken? Yeah. And it's like, no, we know that.
He didn't know.
He doesn't know that. Like,
exactly.
In his world, he sees him disappear, and he's like, "See you around," and it's like, that makes perfect sense to me that he has no clue Luke Skywalker's actually dead, and I think that could be a plot device. He might maybe then start to really get torn and messed up because of that as well.
I completely agree, because like, he was ready to take down the Resistance and do everything until Luke showed up. Then he shows up and then he goes completely insane. So if he has that hanging over his head, I think it's going to drive him insane. And I just I tend to agree with John that he would probably know that he was dead, but it would make sense if he didn't think that. So at the same time, It could be, like you guys have said, an interesting plot device, and it could make him go insane. So that could be like part of his ruling style.
I just hope they don't drag it out.
Let's see if the novel answers it.
Yeah,
maybe the written novel will actually say, and then that's when Ben realized that Luke's presence was no more, or something.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it offers so many different. If he doesn't, it offers so many different things.
The pressure's on you, Mr. Jason Fry.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap that one up. Our next one comes from our friend Grandmaster Galen Merrick at GmasterGMerrick08, and he asks, "How do you think Chewie and Han, the Chewie and Han meeting will happen? In my opinion, a classic cantina brawl." James, go ahead and start this one up.
Well, I think actually John was the one that was saying he thinks that these guys have always been pals, and that kind of put that into my head. But I don't know, man. I actually think it would be kind of interesting to see the juxtaposition of them having always been best friends, that maybe when they first meet, Chewie doesn't trust him. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, all right, I'm going to get these Wookiees out of here. And then he runs in and he's like grabbing him and shaking him. Kind of, I mean, we've seen Chewie do that to people that he later likes and learns, you know what I mean? Like, obviously he's like shouting and stuff.
Choking out Lando.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, he knows that, or he doesn't know, like, later we're going to be friends with these people again, but, you know, he just doesn't trust these people right away. That's kind of Chewie's personality. So I could maybe see a little bit of confrontation between them and possibly a fight. I don't know about like a drunken cantina brawl, though. That's a little.
I don't think that's where they're going to meet either. So I mean, because we know
you think Kessel, Bill? Because I think maybe Chewie's a prisoner.
Yeah, and then
what if it's a misunderstanding? like an episode of Three's Company where like Han Solo like frees a Wookiee and and Chewie sees him walking with a Wookiee and he thinks he's like his prisoner, and Chewie attacks Han and he's like, wait a minute, I'm helping him.
There are other Wookiees in it. That we know of too. So I mean, his family may be imprisoned and even like from the
Lumpy?
Aftermath novels. Yeah, Lumpy and his
they
wife
showed
are all
was it
on
Rebels?
Kashyyyk.
They showed Kessel for a little while. They showed Wookiees.
Yes, they did.
Person.
They did. Absolutely. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be at Kessel. I can't imagine it being in a cantina because we know, or in Legends at least, that's kind of where he found it. I think, and it makes sense that they were to stick to like Kessel
that would
being
be
enslaved
too on the mark. Like the first time they meet in a cantina, and the first time we meet them, and the New Hope's in a cantina. It's
and
like these guys don't drink that much.
He gives him a life debt, which is a significant thing. So something significant has to happen, and not that it can't happen in the cantina, but it makes sense that it would be him saving him from slavery.
Now, I do know that we're going to, like I said before, we're going to have this debate on what canon really means and some of the books and what it means to the movies and the films and stuff. But I do kind of have this feeling that they have referenced in Life Debt that, you know, he always says that I saved him, but it was really him that saved me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know. The meeting kind of does make me think, I don't know, maybe Chewie kind of is the one that they kind of help each other. Like they meet and he unlocks the door, but then he gets trapped because of it. And so then Chewie like pushes the other button and it lets Han out. So they're like helping each other get out. Like, I don't know. They have kind of sympathy for each other. I don't know.
It's got to be some kind of blend where Han is supposed to be a selfish prick. And Chewie is the only person he really cares about when we first met him in A New Hope, right? So something has to happen in this movie to at least spark, and I don't want to keep using that word that they used in The Last Jedi, but spark some sense of selflessness in Han. But I think it would be cool if they met under some kind of misunderstanding and Chewie like roughs him up a little bit. And then he's like, oh, my bad, dude.
My bad. All right. Good answers, everybody. On to our final question. From Ryan. We're friends on Twitter. We talk all the time, and I'm sorry that I'm going to get your name wrong. Ryan Simi? If I'm getting that wrong, you know where to go. At Ryan Scott 00. He asks, what will Luke's role be in Episode 9? Will he harass Kylo or possibly intervene physically? I guess I'll go ahead and start this one up. There is a 99.99999% chance that Luke will show up as a Force ghost in this film. That 0.1 is just, or 0001 is just in case, something changes, and they decide to give him the boot. Now, interesting question there. Will he harass Kylo or possibly intervene physically? I don't think he'll intervene physically, but I definitely think that there's a possibility he could harass Kylo or like torment him. I don't want to say torment because I don't think that Luke Skywalker.
That's not the Jedi way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he would torment him. I just think that he would like come to him and like try to show him the light a little bit, maybe make him a little bit more conflicted. So I think he'll be a Force ghost. He'll definitely talk to Rey. And I think there's definitely a possibility he could talk to Kylo, but
I think if there was any doubt Luke was going to be in this movie as a Force ghost, that got killed when Carrie Fisher passed away. Now it's almost like he has to be in the movie, although I imagine if my desired ending is going to come true, we're going to see him as a Force ghost at the very end of the movie, right? So and I agree with you, Bill. I don't think he's going to be like an annoying, harassing, like Luke Skywalker, like it's a Looney Tune cartoon or something where he's like, boink, poke you on the shoulder.
Even though Mark Hamill could play that really, really well. But
he could, yes. But we don't want Luke to be that way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And intervene physically, I don't see that happening because he didn't even intervene physically when he was alive. So I don't know why he would do that as a ghost.
Exactly.
But I think we're all pretty certain that we're going to see some ghost Luke in Episode 9.
Yeah, I think we are going to get the ghost Luke. But I'm not anywhere near as certain as Bill. I think I understand the whole Carrie Fisher argument and she was supposed to be there, and then now they're bringing in Luke to kind of fill that void a little bit. But I'm not entirely positive. I mean, if I stick to what I'm saying earlier and they recast, then Luke doesn't have a place in this. But I know they went back and they rewrote stuff. So I think that they're bringing him in. And I think the extent is not a lot. I think that at some point in the movie, Kylo's going to be alone in a room and Luke's going to show up and he's going to say, you have to stop. You have to do this or whatever. And then they're going to get in a shouting match with each other. And how it's going to end is Kylo's going to say, like, leave me. I don't want you. I hate you. And Luke's just going to disappear or something. I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with. But that reinforces that Luke
there's going to be another
failed. And I don't know. I just don't like that. I like that he admitted he failed in 8 and it came around to that. But then came back and became the legend. Now, if you go into 9 and he shows up and he has this argument with Kylo, he's not redeeming him. We know that he's done. He's donezo. He's the villain.
Right.
And I think that Luke showing up and having a conversation with Kylo could potentially just kind of reinforce the fact that like Luke sucked as a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I have to, and I know this isn't Star Wars War. But I have to completely disagree with you about that. He doesn't have a place in this movie at all, because you have Rey, who's trying to reestablish the Jedi, who's the next generation of Jedi, and you have this guy
saying
who
didn't have a place, and he might now. But I'm saying,
I think he would, because like if she's trying to bring back the Jedi, she needed some kind of teacher, mentor, whatever, to point her in the right direction and someone to talk about the Force with. So I think that having him there makes sense, and frankly, she needs him.
Yeah, I think it'll be minimal that he's in it. There could be an Obi-Wan / Luke moment like Return of the Jedi where we see him come to Rey to like give her one last push to confront Kylo Ren, which would be the poetic stanza stuff. But I think she's confronting Kylo Ren to fight him, not to woo him again for the 6th time. I think it's moronic for, no offense, I think it's moronic for people to think that Rey's that naive where she's going to keep getting duped by this guy. I think that's what Luke's purpose is going to be. In other words, like Yoda in his dying words to Luke were, you're not a Jedi yet, you must confront Vader. And Luke was like, I can't. I think that's the conflict that Rey's going to need to get pushed to become the Jedi, is she's going to need Luke to like give her that push to go confront and defeat Kylo Ren. And then we're going to see happy ghost Luke at the very end with a sunset.
With Nien Nub in the back.
An Akbar.
Seriously?
Just everybody that's died in the last 9 movies. It's like,
I'm here.
Can I actually have Nien Nub die in the first 5 minutes of episode 9 so people stop talking about... It was a trap! So people stop trying to make him a thing?
All right, well, I guess that's all we got for Tweeting with the Resistance today. John, why don't you send us home?
All right, Bill, thanks. Thanks for all your questions. Keep submitting any questions you have that you'd like us to answer about all things Star Wars to our Twitter account at RBATSWNN or our email resistancebroadcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer them right here on the show. You can find our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Please subscribe to all. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and like our episodes on SoundCloud and YouTube. Head over to our store, tpublic.com/user/resistancebroadcast, and pick up some Resistance Broadcast apparel. Get some swag. I'm wearing some right now. It's great. They're very comfortable. From t-shirts and stickers to... Yeah,
who got that for you? Thank you.
You did. Why,
Thanks,
though?
man.
John got it for himself.
But like we were saying, you can get anything from t-shirts to stickers to coffee mugs, phone cases, posters, and more. It's truly, all joking aside, the best way to support the show. And remember, our second shirt in our character series, the Leia Princess design, will be gone next Monday, so grab yours now. Our Yoda shirt is expired. It is gone. So don't miss out on the second one. You have 1 week left to pick up your Leia shirt. We also have a brand new shirt in the character series that is going to be available, which is the Obi-Wan shirt that is going to be called High Ground. So be sure to go to TeePublic and check that out. We're going to post some pictures to our Twitter feed for you to get that soon. It's going to be Ewan McGregor style Obi-Wan, hence the High Ground. Mm-hmm. Now, for all of your latest Star Wars news, reviews, and information, go to our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com. It is the best Star Wars news site in the galaxy, in my humble opinion. I am John Hoey. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing articles and editorials at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And next month, you could find me in New York City at the Hasbro Toy Fair So I'll hopefully report back with some cool Han Solo toys and photos of stuff like that for you guys on the upcoming episodes. Bill Sheehy back from the longest Kessel run in history. When you're not taking the detour, where can people catch you online?
You guys can find me at Twitter, at Star Wars Bill. You can find me writing on the site from time to time. And this week, just tweet at me with the hashtag Bill1, and we'll be friends forever. So hit me up there, and may the Force be with you guys.
All right. And James Baney, where can everybody find you if they want to chat with you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks. It's MIRAHTRUNKS. I just want to say, too, we're coming up on episode 100, and I think we're going to make some, I don't want to say changes, but big things are coming, and we're really excited about where that's going. I'm also excited about that high ground shirt, man. I finished that one up. I took a step back. I looked at it, and I said, hello there.
Hey.
Well done.
Hey.
And hey, everybody, be sure to follow Patrick Covey at Ganon136 on Twitter. He is the man with the plan who edits the show and makes our episodes sound as smooth as Lando. So go follow Pat and chat him up. He loves talking about anything Star Wars, from the games to the movies to anything canon. Thank you all so much to all of our listeners in the Resistance. We appreciate your support. Be sure to go to our Twitter page and enter that giveaway for the limited edition Rogue One art. Again, all you have to do is follow at RBATSWNN and retweet the contest tweet announcement. We'll announce the winner on the next episode and have more exciting announcements, as James just alluded to, heading your way next week right here on the Resistance broadcast.